Hey, 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 what is up, Broncos country? Kev Dan here. Welcome to the first episode for this season of the Halftime Hash. We've been doing this since we started 60 years ago. 6 years ago, 60. Wow. See, I'm rusty too. It's our preseason here at Orange Weekly. We got to work out the kinks, but glad you're here. Let's talk about the first half, what we saw. We've seen a little bit from Bridgewater. We saw 3-4 drives from Drew Lock. Pretty good stuff. Obviously, the Broncos are winning 26-3 right now. We'll see what the Vikings are going to do. I don't really care right now because it's preseason. If they score a touchdown, then whatever. Daniel, Robert, Sherry, how y'all doing? Mike, Linnea, Robert, good to see you, man. Yeah, I did get old, right? 60 whole years we've been doing this, minus 54. But hey, hit that share button. I'll tell you a little bit about what Orange Weekly does. But let's start off kind of, okay, cool, awesome. Thanks, Robert, 60-6. So let's see, Chris, right off the bat, I know this is something that everybody is just dying to hear and dying to see how it turns out, right? And that is the quarterback battle. I mean, it's been hyped and hyped and hyped, and every article you see on a Broncos page is about the quarterback battle, pretty much. Teddy versus Locke. And what we saw is Drew Lock went out there, threw for 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, about 150 plus yards. He had that 180-yard touchdown pass. I mean, it looked pretty. You couldn't ask him to do much more. He did not convert on that fourth and 2 on the Minnesota 4-yard line. That's the one thing where like, I really wish that could have been like a huge moment for you. However, everything else we asked him to do, I mean, he made good reads. He was going through his read progression. He was making good decisions. He scrambled a little bit, got a couple pickups there as well. So he was making really good decisions. And he didn't turn over the ball. And that's the big thing. He did not turn over the ball. So let's see. Josh, how you doing? Glenn, good to see you. Glad you're here. Mary, I can't call out everybody's names, but I want to hear what, if you were able to see the game, what you thought from the first half, especially from Drew Lock, in addition to any questions you might have. Here at Orange Weekly, we're all about fan interaction. So it's, I can sit here and talk to myself all day long. That gets pretty boring pretty quickly. So I want to hear what you all have to say and what questions you have to have to ask as well. Chris, how about this? Pat Surtain, what about that pick 6? Holy crap, he came out of nowhere and he put on he put on the gas real fast. He got going quick, man. That pick 6 was beautiful and showed exactly why we've been throwing to let's see, Minnesota's been really throwing to the far side of the field from where Pat Surtain is over to Sternad. Sternad's been getting a lot of practice early on in the game because they just weren't going to, test out Pat Surtain. They've done that throughout the week in the joint practices. We've heard what Surtain has done in those practices, and it's just been, he's been playing lights out. And what happens? They throw over to him. They get a pick 6. This guy is, you're talking about depth / being a starter. There's going to be some questions there on if he's going to make the final roster there, the starting roster or not. Bryce Callahan is probably, in my mind, somewhere to look at because of how injury prone he is. Do we start him? They're probably going to start him. I would, it's a discussion though. Either way, if somebody goes down, knock on wood, that doesn't happen, Pat Surtain's going to be the one to step in there, and we're going to be looking just fine. Okay, let's see what else we got. Robert, what do you think of the wide receiver lineup going to be? That's a tough one. I'd have to really look and see, I don't want to get too much into that right now because, we got the second preseason game, and then really when we get to the third preseason game, we're going to have a much better idea. I think one of the questions is Tim Patrick. What's he going to look like, in the mix there? Bottom line, if we get Cortland Sutton back there and healthy, between him, Jerry Jeudy alone, our wide receiver core is going to be pretty damn strong, especially if we have a quarterback who is going to protect the football, whoever that might be, and not turn over the ball and make some bad decisions, right? So, and we can definitely talk that more through on our Tuesday show, Bourbon Broncos and OBS. We do start those up this Tuesday night. So every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, make sure you all join us live here on Facebook and Twitter for that. So we'll be able to break down the offense, the defense, the special teams, and kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like going into the start of the season in less than a month from now. So it's going to be here. Let's see. Chewy, I'm probably saying your name wrong. I'm sorry about that if I'm totally butchering that. Give it to Locke now and let them prepare around him. This is a really interesting idea in terms of, we want to name a starter, right? But they're also trying to keep it really fair, trying to make sure that they pick the right person. So definitely the week going into our third preseason game, we're definitely going to have a starter. I get it. I would also like to have one guy getting the majority of the snaps with the first team. That's just not going to happen this year. That when you have a really true quarterback battle like we have right now, you're not going to have one guy getting the vast majority of the snaps. And so, that's kind of where we're at. After everything that Coach Fangio and company have said, they're going to continue to split the snaps. Bridgewater will get the start next week. So he'll have a chance with the ones to see what he can do against the Seattle defense. And after that, we'll know pretty much who our starter is going to be. So this decision is going to be made pretty quickly, if you think about it that way. Let's see. What else we got in here? Robert, I'll be looking for you there on Tuesday, man. Shadow, how you doing? Thanks for watching on YouTube. Hey, everyone, make sure you check out our YouTube channel as well. Go give us a follow. Fookie Williams, yeah. He's, I think if you're talking about the running back, not sure if he'll make anything other than special teams there. When you look at the running back room between Melvin Gordon and Boone and Freeman, Boone obviously is injured for about 4 to 6 weeks, we're thinking. So Freeman's probably going to be on that roster, at least for now. We'll see what happens there. So let's see. PS2 greater than Fields. You know what? That's something that only time will tell. Look, Pat Surtain is ready to go. He could be a starter in a lot of teams right now. I think our defense is so heavily stacked, especially in the backfield, that we don't need him to be a starter right off the bat. However, you don't know what Fields is going to turn out to be. He played really well today in his first preseason game ever. That's great. Good for him. But you don't know. I mean, how many other quarterbacks have we seen, do really well in their first year and then completely fizzle out? So, I don't think we're going to be able to really make that comparison until 2, 3, 4 years from now, looking back and saying, hey, where's Fields now? Where's Pat Surtain now? How are they comparing? Did we make a good decision? If Justin Fields is winning Super Bowls with the Bears, then okay, maybe we made a bad decision. But I don't see that happening because it's the Bears and the Bears suck. So, there you go. Let's see. But going to go through more of these. Christopher, spot on, man. Defense is going to be a top 3 this year, especially if we stay healthy. Look, we were, I think, number 6 overall in the league last year, number 6 or 7, and we were completely injury prone last year. I mean, we were scraping the bottom of the barrel when it came to players available on defense, offense too in some areas, but especially on defense. And we were still able to have a top 7 defense, and I think the number 1 red zone defense. These guys can stay healthy. There's no question that we can't have a top 5, heck, even a top 3, like you're saying, defense for sure. Tim Patrick, I love the guy. I'm hoping that he can make the team. I think he has a lot of strengths that really, bring out the best in the wide receiver room. So we'll see what happens there. Red Cloud, how you doing, man? I saw some of your comments there on Facebook in terms of your anti-Lockness. And then he threw the 80-yard touchdown. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Fidel, do you think Fields and PS2 careers will be tied together? I don't know if they're going to be tied together, Fidel. I think there's definitely going to be a lot of people that are going to go back and analyze really, hey, did we make the right decision when it came to that? Let's see. Robert asked to the Raiders. Yeah. Fidel, so would you rather keep unproven players than a proven one? It's tough, man. I'm not the one making those decisions. You know what I mean? It's when you're in those situations, you got the proven and the unproven. I mean, going through and you got to take a chance on some players. They may be unproven, but what they've demonstrated in the past, especially in their college career, you got to take a chance on some players, and it's going to bite you in the ass sometimes. And that's why so many people like to look back and say, well, if we had drafted this player in in whatever draft, look where we be now. Well, we didn't know that then. Yeah, they were drafted lower for a reason, or based off of where they're at, and then they did really well in the NFL. Or they were a first round pick and they completely bombed. And so it's really tough. It's really tough to say, man. Let's see. Shadow. Jerry Jeudy after the catch is Lether courts in session. Yeah. So, I mean, the combo of Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton is going to be just dynamite, man. Dynamite. I think Gerald with the running backs, I'm really bummed that Boone went down and we're not going to see him for about 4 to 6 weeks, probably closer to 6 weeks with a quad injury. It sounded like he was having a hell of a training camp. But even then with Royce Freeman, we know what to expect from him. He is an extremely solid RB3. I can't complain. I think we have a really, really good room right there with those three right there. And then you add Boone as well. I think once Boone comes back, you're probably going to see us cut Freeman. So you have Javonte Williams and Royce Freeman as the 2 and 3 there. And then Boone as a 2 and 3. And then Royce Freeman will either go to the practice squad, probably get cut. Robert, let's do an Orange Weekly meetup. I think we should try to do that sometime. I got season tickets. So if you're ever going to a Broncos home game, let me know. Let's see. Shadow, what are your thoughts on the starting middle linebackers? To be honest, I haven't really paying too much attention to the defense, other than just they've been playing really well. The defense in a whole is just so stacked. I could sit here and try to point out flaws, but I don't know really how many flaws there are, man. But it would be a good discussion. So I think this Tuesday, we're going to not only go over the game, but really kind of focus on the offense. Tuesday after that is when we're really going to start looking at the defense as well. So come back for that game, and we're going to have a really good in-depth breakdown of the defense and the special teams. So get ready for that. Fidel, is this the best roster since the Manning era outside of the QB position? You know what? That's a really good question, man. Close, if not the best. Yeah. Especially on the defense, you got some really, really awesome young talent on the offense. You're still going to see a lot of mistakes just made from young players. This is what I'm talking about. Give these guys 3 years to 5 years to really gel and grow together. And if you can keep these players on the same team, as many of them as possible, that's where you're going to see a really solid team, at least on the offense there. So I love it. I love where the offense is being built, where it's going. The quarterback position is the one question. There are some other questions on offense, such as the right tackle. Who's going to get that position? What about center? Is Cushenberry going to keep that starting job? I think he is, just because it's really tough to play that position as a rookie. Now he has a whole year under his belt there. So I think Cushenberry is going to stay the starter under center. We'll see. There weren't really any offside penalties for us in the first part of the game. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to see what happens there. Somebody's going to have to go home and start selling insurance. And that's just the way the NFL is. So going into the second half, thanks, Daniel. I appreciate it. I'm going to log off here and go catch the second half. But really quickly, want to remind everyone again, Tuesday nights, Bourbon Broncos, no BS, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We do this halftime hash for every halftime of the Broncos game. So make sure that as soon as halftime starts, open up your Facebook, your YouTube, your Twitter. We will be live. You can catch us there. Also, make sure you check out our pregame and our postgame podcasts. Our postgame podcasts are going to start going up this week. The pregames are going to start going up the week before the season starts, actually. So we're starting to ramp up over here, but some of our major shows and podcasts are starting, and football is back. Broncos are on TV. It's going to be fantastic. So thanks everyone for hopping on. We've got some great fans. Again, hit that share button if you haven't already. Tell everyone about Orange Weekly. Glad to see you here, and have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Go Broncos, beat the Vikings, and we'll see you here next week for Beat Seattle Week. Take care, everyone.